Hello there. You're watching News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Nebraska's governor among a group of Republican governors that returned to the U.S.-Mexico border Sunday for a briefing with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. But as Sarah Costa reports, residents in Eagle Pass say they don't like how their community is being represented by people who don't live there.
At its heart, Eagle Pass is vibrant and rich with culture. It's why Jesse Fuentes loves calling this border town his home.
You always get an opportunity to be connected to your roots.
He's upset the public's perception of the city is now mangled by the razor wire. Glimmering coils stretch along the border for miles.
You know, that concertina wire is brutal.
Juanita Martinez says it's left a scar on the city's reputation and on those caught in it.
The community's exhausted. We're exhausted from the situation.
A situation hitting a peak in December. Thousands of men, women, and children waiting to be processed by Border Patrol, filling a massive field. Several Republican governors blame what they say is the president's inaction at the border for increased crime and drug issues in their states.
You have to be down here to fully comprehend what an extraordinary humanitarian crisis this is. And, the people are not hanging out at Eagle Pass. Eagle Pass is a pass through to get moving. The cartels are totally controlling it. And the cartels have a sophisticated network where they're making money across the United States. And we'd be naive to think none of that comes to Nebraska.
It's very clear that this is not just a fight that Texas is having. This is a fight that all of us have to engage in.
Every state in our country now is a border state.
It's why they're backing Governor Greg Abbott's decision to take control, which he's done at Shelby Park.
First of all, I think the local residents around here are angry, and rightfully so, because their area, their neighborhoods, their golf courses, their shopping areas, all have been invaded.
That's not true, Mija. That's not true at all. Right now, we're being invaded by the crazy people that he has incited to come here and to wreak havoc on our community.
Martinez and several others want the state to back off and get out.
We need our park back. I want Governor Greg Abbott to get the hell out of our community.
Meanwhile, House Speaker Mike Johnson says the House is prepared to vote on a bill that would provide aid to Israel. It's a standalone bill, and it's an about-face for Johnson, who previously said he would not allow a House vote on aid to Israel and Ukraine unless a deal was reached on border security. Johnson previously proposed a $14 billion aid package, which cuts from the IRS. But the new $17 billion bill doesn't have any offsetting cuts. The Senate's put together their own package to provide aid that also deals with border security. The Northeast Nebraska School District is without its top administrator temporarily. Andrew Pfeiffer has more.
Andrew Pfeiffer standing outside Plainview High School where after almost 3 hours of deliberation, the Board of Education has made their decision when it comes to the disciplinary action of Superintendent Dr. Darren Aral. Aral has been under fire the past couple of days for comments he made about women's wrestling in Plainview.
3 hours was how long it took for the Plainview Board of Education to come to a decision on Friday night, a decision that took disciplinary action on Superintendent Dr. Darren Aral. Aral was given backlash after certain comments he made pertaining to a certain women's sport in Nebraska. The comments, which were quickly removed on social media, stated Aral's opinion about the presence of girls wrestling in Nebraska. In the original post, Aral stated that the girls were not ready. He also claimed that he observed a lot of crying, ice bag requests, and drama. After a quick apology, Aral even posed for a quick photo op with the girls' wrestling team soon after. However, the board did not believe that Aral's actions were enough.
We believe he is genuinely sorry about his statement. We also recognize the quick removal of his post and apologizing. While appreciated and appropriate, it is not enough. As of February 5th, Dr. Aral has been placed on unpaid administrative leave from Plainview Public Schools as we continue to discuss our response as a school board.
Aral made a statement to News Channel Nebraska via email about his comments and the regrets he displayed immediately soon after making the post. He declined any further additional comments upon direction of the board. Ultimately, the Board of Education decided to place Aral on a non-paid administrative leave. The board decided to not take any comments from the public until the next scheduled meeting. The vote on the action of placing Aral on leave was a unanimous 6-0 vote. This will remain Aral's status until the board can come up with further direction for the superintendent position.
The board decided to not make any further comments regarding the meeting, but Dr. Darren Aral's unpaid administrative leave begins February 5th. Reporting in Plainview, Andrew Pfeiffer, News Channel, Nebraska.
Seatbelts being credited with saving a man's life in northeast Nebraska. The Stanton County Sheriff's Office says they responded to this crash Sunday afternoon. Authorities say a vehicle driving at high speeds on Highway 32 left the road, crossed into a ditch, then struck an embankment, went airborne, and struck several trees before coming to a stop. A passerby at the scene was able to help the driver out of the wreckage. That driver taken to a nearby hospital with what were called serious injuries. They were later flown to Omaha. The sheriff's office says the vehicle was destroyed. A wrecker was needed to remove the vehicle as it was wedged against the trees. Well, despite some early morning fog, this week is expected to be a pleasant spring-like week in Nebraska. That won't be the case, though, for the rest of the country. A powerful storm drenching the west coast today brings the chance of potentially life-threatening conditions. Amy Kiley reports.
Since the storm is so wide, it's really hitting the entire state of California.
An atmospheric river that started yesterday continues pounding the west coast today. It could cause life-threatening floods and mudslides. For Los Angeles, it's one of the most dramatic weather days in recent memory, according to the National Weather Service.
Los Angeles is not used to weather events like this.
In part of LA, fire scars are causing evacuation since they increase the risk of mudslides. Elsewhere in the city,
our priority is for Angelenos to be informed and to stay home.
Southern California is under a state of emergency declaration. Various areas throughout that region are dealing with evacuations. The PGA is canceling the rest of its tournament in Pebble Beach, and winter weather alerts are in effect for parts of Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and Arizona.
We have crews in the mountains, Sierra Nevadas, that are dealing with the snow and ice up there.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
There's a grim new report out about the number of people worldwide expected to be diagnosed with cancer in the years ahead. The World Health Organization estimates global cancer diagnoses will hit 35 million by 2050. That represents a whopping 77% jump from the 20 million diagnosed in 2022. Researchers looked at 185 countries and 36 forms of the deadly disease. They found that lung cancer was the most common form around the world. In 2022, female breast, colorectal, prostate, and stomach cancers were the next highest diagnoses. Researchers say obesity, tobacco, and alcohol use, as well as environmental factors like air pollution, are the reasons for the expected increase in rates. The WHO says there are also inequities in cancer burden across developed nations concerning rates of diagnoses and cancer deaths. A report just last month from the American Cancer Society shows the number of people dying from the disease continues to go down in the U.S., but it notes there are certain forms of cancer that are rising. It's one of the most common childhood disorders. Meanwhile, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, affects millions of children. In fact, a study published in Sage Journals found that between 2016 and 2019, there were around 26,000 diagnoses of the condition in Nebraska alone. But some experts say misinformation about the disorder on social media is putting people at risk. Mandy Gaither has more.
If properly diagnosed, people with ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder can get medication to help with symptoms like the inability to concentrate or sit still. Social media may be helping to reduce stigma surrounding this disorder, but some believe it's doing some damage too.
I think the whole conversation around mental health, of course, has changed for the better in the sense that people are actually quite open and honest about talking about their individual struggles. But the challenge or the flip side of it is that it almost becomes talked about term in the popular sphere where clinical terms might start to get misused.
Clinical psychiatrist Dr. Anthony Young and his colleagues started studying ADHD videos posted on social media after noticing more patients coming in for help with focus and concentration. Young says the research revealed more than half of the top 100 most popular videos posted on ADHD at the time had misleading information about the disorder. Their concern is that more people are diagnosing themselves with ADHD and getting treatment they may not even need.
If everybody starts identifying themselves as having ADHD, if like 10% becomes 20%, becomes 30, becomes 50, becomes 60%, then really what is the disorder that we're talking about here? Where are we drawing the line?
If you suspect ADHD, health experts say it's important to see a doctor to be evaluated. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, the city of Fairbury went back to the Roaring 20s for this year's Chamber of Commerce banquet. The night filled with entertainment, showing how life was in the 1920s, even had a silent film about Prohibition, starring several members of the community. The big award, though, went to the MC of the night, Trevor Steinmeier. He was recognized with the Community Service Award. Steinmeier also volunteers his time coaching youth sports, mentoring as a teammate, and for the 15th time helped provide the entertainment and served as the MC at the Chamber banquet. Steinmeier also operations manager and program director of radio station Ole Red 99.5. And football, the topic of conversation for high school fans across the state. Sunday, the rosters for the 66th annual Shrine Bowl have been announced. Brandon Axemet has more.
Well, the 2024 Nebraska Shrine Bowl rosters have been announced, and we now know which high school seniors will be representing their towns, communities, and schools in Kearney while they play one final football game this summer. Yes, here in Lincoln, the Shriners released who is on the North team, who is on the South team, and it spans players from across the entire state, Class A down to 8-man, and the criteria for making the Shrine Bowl isn't just that you are a senior that will be graduating. It's not that you are a very good football player, but it also takes into account some of the most high character individuals on the respective programs that were selected. 40+ players for both the North and South chosen to represent their teams in this Shrine Bowl. And today I had a chance to talk to a couple of players from both the North and South teams that hit on why they are so honored to be a part of this big game.
Obviously, this is a big honor to come here and play another game and come play with the best players in the state. And so I was for sure down to go play and put the pads on one more time.
Definitely blessed. Just thank God. Football's been my number 1 sport, my favorite sport since probably like elementary school. So going out and playing another game is just loads of fun.
I'm excited. It feels it's an honor to be able to play in such a game that's got such significance for more than football. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to meet new people as well. So.
Now the North team, it will be represented by Norfolk High head coach Chris Kuzier, who said he was honored and perhaps a little surprised to find out he was chosen to be the head coach of the North team this summer, but he is going to take this opportunity and run with it.
It's an amazing thing just because there's been so many great players and so many great coaches that have coached and played in this game. And to be selected as one of those, I was really humbled. I really didn't ever think I'd get the phone call. You know, you get an assistant coach, you have to be an assistant before you ever be a head. And I just thought, well, I had my one experience, but to get the second phone call was truly humbling.
So this is the 66th annual Shrine Bowl, and for those who are unfamiliar, it will be played in Kearney on the campus of UNK, specifically Ron and Carol Cope Stadium. Kickoff is actually being moved up a little bit this year from the traditional 6 or 7 o'clock. It will be a 4 o'clock kickoff, and the game will be televised live on News Channel Nebraska. Our live coverage will start at 3:45 Central. I'm Brandon Axemet in Lincoln reporting, News Channel Nebraska.
You can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. Click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Eric McKay, and this is News Channel Nebraska.